we went into his bedroom and it was just a mountain of teddy bears, fluffy toys on his bed. And I was trying to work out, is it his bedroom or is it one of the kids' bedrooms? You know what I mean? And then the governor he opened the side drawer and there was a laminated picture of these teddy bears, all in the position they were in. And he said, those bears have to be put back in that position on that card. That's why that's there. Otherwise he'll shout and scream at the maids. And that's when you start thinking, really? You know, I mean, I thought it was a tool already, the way I used to speak to everyone and treat us like shit. But to go to that lengths, to stop him from shouting at a maid, that had to be put in a certain way. Again, that's coercive behaviour as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever speak to any of the maids or any of that, or get the impression they weren't happy?
I used to speak to Paul, his personal valet, who would have an apartment attached to Prince Andrew. And so Paul was with him 20, 30 years. So he'd pack his clothes and all that sort of stuff. And he absolutely hated him.
Did he?
I used to speak to him because what happened is Bendix he had a cross Jack Russell dog, Prince Andrew did.
Called Bendix?
I think it was Bendix, yeah. I think.
What sort of name is that?
You tell me.
For a dog?
Yeah, I don't know. And so he used to, so if the dog would wake up in the early hours, Andrew would press his button for Paul to come in and take the dog for a walk at 2 a.m.
Is this a separate button to the security button?
Yeah. It's like his bell to him, or he'd pick the phone, whatever it is, he'd have a contact.
World they live in.
Yeah, I know, a madness, isn't it? Yeah. And so he'd come in at 2 or 3 a.m, have to take the dog out for a walk, but he'd come and have a smoke, and I'd see him if I was out on patrol in the garden, and I'd start chatting to him. And he absolutely hated him. He just said he's such a horrible person. He said, he's going skiing next week, hopefully he'll ski off a fucking cliff. That's someone who's been with him 20 or 30 years, you know? So
this is somebody who, from what you've said about the teddy bears, the way he is, he just didn't grow up. I mean, as a child, I wouldn't have spoken to people like that anyway. But
No. And I've said in interviews, and I stand by it. If Prince Philip had stuffed a bar of soap in his mouth the first time he told the servant to fuck off, a lot of this probably wouldn't have happened. Yeah, because he was allowed to get away with absolute murder.
He's the favourite, I heard.
He was the Queen's favourite, yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He was definitely the Queen's favourite. I mean, he stuck out like a sore thumb. He was the only one that was causing grief. None of the others were. I mean, they all had a sense of entitlement, because if you understand, like, it's a very archaic system within the palace. There's a structure, a class structure, as you know. All police and maids were at the bottom of that class. I'm pretty sure I've said, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, they've got 3 different canteens in the palace. They've got the top canteen for all the household members, senior household members, like the Queen's private secretary and the Lord Chamberlain, I think he is, or whatever. All these different fancy names. They're all colonels and majors, retired majors and colonels, and that's what it is. It's full of ex-military that look after. That is like the rib cage around the royal family. Do you know what I mean? They're the advisors, they're the protectors. And so they've got the a la carte menu. It's all in French and the white glove silver service. And then you've got the middle tier, which are the admin people, you know, like the secretaries that work in the different royal offices for Princess Anne's office or Andrew's office or whatever. And then you've got the next level, which is the maids and the footmen, which have probably just got a microwave and a kettle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that hierarchy is even in the staff.
Yeah. I mean, and also what you've got to remember is that a lot of these people enter into service at an early age, and they stay in that royal fold because it's like a family to them. And they could go from being in there when they're 18 to when they're 60 or 70. The Queen had ladies in waiting with her that had been with her 50 years. You know, it's a lot. If you understand that it's full of people and they're staunchly loyal. So then when you look at Prince Andrew, who's gonna take him to task? No one, because they're loyal to him. You know, he might be an idiot, but he's a senior member of the royal family. Mm-hmm. And so people say, police officers must have known what he was getting up to on Epstein Island and this, that and the others. What they need to understand is protection officer is not your friend. Yeah, he might, Prince Andrew or members of the royal family might talk and have a laugh and a joke, but we are staff. We are not personal friends. We don't go socialising. No. We're there
How
to
would
do
you
a job.
know about that? Yeah. But you did have, I've heard you say some clues. I mean, you couldn't have put it together, but looking back, how do you pronounce her name? Because I've heard you say Ghislaine. But
I say Ghislaine or Ghislaine, isn't it?
Ghislaine? I thought that S might be...
Ghislaine, it might be.
I've never heard of another Ghislaine.
Do you know, I've never. So I got it wrong. You know, if I've got it wrong, I've got it wrong.
I don't know where that name's from. Someone will tell us where that's from. But Ghislaine, I've gone with Ghislaine. You might be right. Ghislaine Maxwell. But she was visiting Andrew before all this kicked off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she was a regular visitor.
We should say who she is for those who don't know.
Ghislaine Maxwell is the daughter of Robert Maxwell, who was a financier back in the day. And I think he robbed the pension fund for a company, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. So he was a disgraced multi-millionaire, billionaire.
Yeah.
And it was all in the papers, and then he fell off a boat, didn't he? Died.
Yeah. And then she got involved with...
She was always a friend of Prince Andrew.
And Epstein.
I think and obviously Epstein. But she was a regular visitor to Buckingham Palace. And I've always... the story that sticks out, which I've said before, is when I first became aware of her, was when we were told that Maxwell was coming to visit Prince Andrew, and that we were not to put her name in the appointments book, because when you turn up to the palace, you'll see the police officer on the front gate, and they've got an appointments book in there. And what happens is behind them is a office called the Privy Purse, directly is the main entrance to the palace. And you've got a police officer there and civilians. And what they do is they take all the appointments from all the different royal offices. Like I said, the private secretary of Princess Anne, the Queen, Prince Philip, they'll ring down with their appointments. So Mr. Smith's coming in to see the Queen at 1 o'clock. Someone else is coming in to see Princess Anne at 2 o'clock, whatever. And then they would ring to us on the post for us to put those details in the book. So when that individual turned up, we'd go, "What's your name?" They'd say, "John Smith." We'd go, "Yeah, appointment thing. Right. Any ID? Yeah, okay. Ring up the Privy Purse. Can we send them up?" They'd say, "Yeah," and then they'd be. There's a process.
Yeah.
You know, because we do get people that turn up and I'm here to see the Queen. No, you're not. Just mentally challenged. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
That was on a regular basis. And so this occasion, we were told not to put the name in the book.